Hello, this is Andrew Lancaster, and this is my week 4 research project. I decided to go with Backbone. It's been a JavaScript uh, framework that I've wanted to learn for a while, so that's the reason I chose it. Some people actually say, I don't know a lot about the differences, but I think technically Backbone would be considered a library, but it's I think it's close enough to being a framework. It is dependent on underscore and jQuery. And so I don't know if that has something to do with it, but either way, it's I haven't learned a lot about it, but I did create a little demo here. Just so it looks like a regular page right now. You can see that I do have the URL thing. If I don't have that in, you notice that I'm missing some content. If you click on a picture, it creates a view, pulls that data in here. This is John. Click on Jane. This is Jane. Click on Andrew. This is Andrew, and this is all created. This is all used by creating routes and pulling in the views. So going in to the code, you can see the HTML doesn't look. It obviously doesn't have all the information that you see on the page. You see in this script section right here, it uses the text template and selects an ID of person. This is very important because we're used to type JavaScript or just using the sources you see down here. If you didn't use that text template, it would not work. And you can see these little tags right here: link, image. This is pretty much the equivalent of using the braces, the double braces around the 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 terms in Angular. And you can see that there is a lot of scripts when using this. It might look a little crazy now, but it is one of the nice things about Backbone, where you have all these different folders that control your views, your models, and your collections, your routes, and it actually is a lot more organized. And I think Backbone, the developers or the community pride themselves on Backbone being so organized. So getting into the code, let's go. We know what models are. This is basically where you create the data. Um, and app single person, this is just creating just the one person. This is creating it using the Backbone model. It extends it, and all that is doing is creating it. The defaults is just a way to set defaults for any of these single persons, that when they're created they don't set these. These are the values that will be set, and I'll show you an example. So setting the so you can see under Andrew Lancaster, that's me. I did not set an image, therefore it uses that placeholder from the default. Jane Doe did not set an age, so it just set that the NA value. Pretty simple. Okay, so then we go into the views. The views is where we set up the view, and you have these properties that you can add to it. Tag name, article, that actually selects the type of HTML element it will use. Article. If you don't have, it's not required. If you don't select this, it'll be a div. And class name, I added a class name. You don't have to, but I did it just for the purpose of designing, I guess. And template, this is where you start using underscore, which I don't know a lot about, but this is going to create the template. The way this is what's making this script thing possible. It's pulling this and it's looking in here and it's filling out the values. And as we know, views also handle events. This is kind of a poor example, because you could just do this with regular JavaScript or CSS really, but a mouse over, mouse out adds a class, or these are actually functions. Add BG color is a function that you can see right here, and that function is telling it to add the class and obviously remove the class. Uses the this elements on this number sign L. This is just a way to select the element, which in this case would be article, and then you can run jQuery methods on it. All persons view. This is where we set up the collection. And collections are just a group of objects. So you saw we just had a single person, and it basically collects all of that and pulls that all in. And we know what this each method does is it runs through all of them, and it's selecting this add person, and it's returning those values. And so when we add a person, we run the add person function, it adds more. It adds it to the collection. And here's our routes. This is it's just kind of similar. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory since we know Angular at this point. But the runs backbone router extend, just the way it's doing a lot of other ones. Um, Obviously, we're selecting blank. That will run no copy function, as you can see down here. And if it's on these other ones, it selects these other ones and runs these functions. And this is how I'm showing that message that you see when I click on the pictures. And that's about it. This is the main JavaScript where I actually fill in add in single persons and add in values. And obviously, you can see if the values I don't set are set by the defaults. And the backbone history start's a very important one. It allows your back and forward features of browsers to actually go back to handle the history when you go through it.